Clothing for Buddy Pough provided by Bill Owings Clothing. Bill Owings Clothing is a proud sponsor of the Buddy Pough Show.
Halftime, South Carolina State leading. Coach, what were your thoughts at halftime from the standpoint of the way we were playing?
Well, after the start that we got off to, I was glad that we had gotten ourselves back into the game and had gotten a pretty decent lead. But, it was a little bit worse in that we still didn't quite mix it up as well as we would like. But, we start this half on a good note. You see Pat Washington and J.D. Fullwood starting where they left off in the first half.
J.D. Fullwood starting again on that defensive line for Leon Smith, played extremely well, putting pressure on Chris Waller, the quarterback, forced him up in the pocket. David Irby with a big hit once again.
And you see the same group of guys doing some of the same kinds of things, and Irby finished him off. I almost thought he got a sack there, but he got right back to the line of scrimmage, and then Malcolm Long comes off of the fake and hits Antoine Carr here on the underneath route for a pretty neat game.
And Antoine has really emerged as another threat, Coach, that has sort of come out of nowhere to really help out Linnell Elmore. And we talk about him really coming into his own now.
This is the guy that we're really trying to develop, and Elmore has done a nice job of making himself a big enough target. And Malcolm hits him again here on another corner route. And we come back with Chris Massey out in the flat. And, Massey makes a couple nice moves and gets down close, but we do end up having to kick a field goal after this game.
Massey getting it deep down, Blake Erickson on, and I tell you what, Coach, that special teams unit, talking about David Davis, Nate Smith, and Blake Erickson certainly work well together as a unit.
The thing that you really like is you can depend on points now when you get down the red zone. And we've decided we're just going to take the points. We're not going to try to force issues and, get yourself in the bind that way. And you see our defensive line, you see Urban making the play there, but Pat and J.D. and all those guys that make nice plays. And then Yari King is really, coming up and making some big sticks. And, to be a little guy, he really has, he brings a lot of pop.
Out of Irmo, South Carolina, played at Irmo High School over for Coach Hanna at Irmo. Big day for Yari on Saturday. Norfolk State with the football. There's Yari again, knocking the football loose, and that should have been a fumble.
I thought it was a fumble, but, they didn't make it a fumble. But, we come back, and I think Pat Washington kind of throws him off stride here, and then Irby comes up and finishes him off.
On the day for David Irby, 11 tackles, 8 solos, 3 assists, 3 tackles for losses, a sack, and a forced fumble. Not a bad day for the senior from Rock Hill.
You see Massey again on a nice run, about an 8 or 9 yard run on split zone, and we come back here and fumble the ball. Somehow or another, the nose tackle pushes our center back a little bit into Malcolm. Malcolm probably needs to get back a little bit deeper. Try to fall on it. We can't fall on it. We end up having to deal with a turnover. But
Christian Thompson comes over with a big play.
Yeah, that was a pretty tough play there. I was afraid that thing was going out there in the end zone. It looked like a ball they might catch. And then Yari King again comes and knocks him out again.
I tell you, Yari really had a big ball game Saturday. And of course, the Bulldog defense, Joe Thomas, Coach.
This is Joe Thomas from over at Blackville, South Carolina. We're getting him more and more involved. And we punt the ball here. We're not quite sure, whether we want to go safe or whether we want to put our punt team out there. Not quite sure about what we want to do, and the next thing we know is we turn it back over to them close down to our goal line.
First and goal, they had it from the 9-yard line, but I tell you what, this defense just would not allow them to get in the end zone. Irby with the deflection.
And Dominique Ellis is involved with that too, and they come back here and try to throw a little flat play, and Dominique is defending there also, so we get them stopped, and they end up bringing the Estep kid back in here and kicking another field goal.
And they get the field goal at that point. South Carolina State leading 27-13, 10:43 to go in the fourth period of this one. Bulldogs go back on the attack offensively, Coach, and Chris Massey. A lot of folks don't realize Chris Massey really played banged up on Saturday.
He did. Massey came back and played some of the second half, but he has been banged up a good bit, and we've got to figure out a way to get him some rest during the week so we can get him back again this week. Pretty nice punt there by Blake Harrison.
I was going to say, we talk about him field goal kicking, but needless to say.
I wonder who that is, who's making that stick.
I think it's Mr. King again. Yari King, another big play for the Bulldogs on Saturday, and there's Mr. Irby again with another.
I'll tell you what,
that's a sack.
I'll tell you what, that's been a recurring theme of this game. Yari King hitting people and David Irby getting down there. And then we blocked this punt here. I think this is Darius Drummond from up in Nashville, our freshman. And hadn't quite figured out what Dominique Richards is trying to do there, but he finds himself in the middle of that crowd, and then we throw a little delay pass here to Antoine Carr. You know, and Antoine is getting to be a target for us at the tight end position again. Hopefully we can develop him kind of like we did Octavius Darby a few years ago.
Tell you what, he has got the size. He does it on North Augusta. You give it to Chris Massey, he gets into the end zone for the score. South Carolina State will get the point after touchdown on Saturday. And, of course, it was a good win over Norfolk State.
It was a very good win. I was worried about this game, and Norfolk's traditionally giving us a hard time. And, you know, for us to get in and score these kind of points and to shut them down the way we did on defense, I thought was really great.
41 yards rushing for Norfolk State, 55 yards passing, only 6 first downs. That does set the tone. You start talking about the drive of the game in this football game, the State Farm drive of the game. We go back to South Carolina State's second score, so to speak, Coach. After we tied the football game, the offense settled down. That offensive line, I think, took over, and that was it.
This was the first drive that our offense scored. And you see the little play action pass here, and we get a little pressure. And Malcolm runs around and gets a little bit of a gain, and we come back here and hand it back to Massey again, I think, on a nice little gain outside on the stretch play. And you can see these guys blocking on. You see Devin Ware blocking, and Tyler McDonald getting the block out there on the edge. Massey, you know, he's a load down. He maximizes every run. And, you know, we throw the little flat pass ahead of Massey at the end, and we run on the end zone for the score.
Your State Farm drive of the game, South Carolina State over Norfolk State. We'll take a time out here on the Buddy Pough Show. When we come back, we will tell you what is up next for your South Carolina State Bulldogs.
Orangeburg area Bulldog fans, join us at the Breaks Sports Bar and Grill for the Coach Buddy Pough radio show every Thursday evening from 6 to 7. The show will be broadcast live on Old School 102.9 FM. You're invited to phone in or email your questions for Coach Pough. For the next big Bulldog game, stock up on the most delicious tailgating packages around at Fats Cafe, where regulars get treated special and everyone's a regular.
All right, the Fats Cafe, Fats Facts, as we look around the MEAC this past weekend. Morgan State a win over North Carolina A&T. Furman taking it to Howard up in Greenville. Hampton a winner in Durham. Norfolk State losing to South Carolina State and coached a big game. Bethune-Cookman really taking out Delaware State 47-24. That game was 34-2 at the halftime. Of course, up next for the Bulldogs, Bethune-Cookman. And what do we know about the Wildcats at this point?
Well, we know Coach Brian Jenkins has gotten in there and has done a fantastic job so far. Bethune had been down for the past few years, and for them to be 5-0, you know, is unbelievable. So it'll be tough for us this coming Saturday again.
I'll tell you what, South Carolina State in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference right now tied for first place with no losses with Bethune-Cookman. We look forward, folks, to seeing you on Saturday down in Orangeburg when the Bulldogs take on the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. And, of course, hopefully, and there you see the times on Saturday, 1:30 kickoff. Last week was 2 o'clock, so no, this week is back to a 1:30 kickoff, and we'll see you next week. We'll see you next week right here on the Buddy Pough Show.
Thank you for watching the Buddy Pough Show, featuring highlights of the defending back-to-back MEAC champions, SC State University Bulldogs. Our sponsors are State Farm Insurance, Orangeburg County, the South Carolina Education Lottery, the Regional Medical Center, Time Warner Cable, Palmetto Health, Advanced Diagnostic Imaging Center, Fats Cafe, Paragon Builders, Bill Owens Custom Clothing, and Wood Ash Furnishing. Join us again next week for exciting highlights of SC State University Bulldog football.
On WISTV.com. Hundreds of qualified job seekers. Post your open positions today. Visit JobLink on WISTV.com.
You're gonna get guaranteed low prices. IGA.